My name is Erin Meehan, and I am the Recovery Service Coordinator with Trinity Recovery. What I love to do is share my experience, strength, and hope with others. I am uniquely qualified because I have lived experience. I've struggled all my life with substance use disorder and mental health. So going out there and sharing my hope with others, letting people know that you can do this, you can overcome this. I struggled with mental health since I was young. I struggled with, my thought process, who I was, my worth, and all that. And then medication, because I was on all different types of medication. I was a hairdresser for years. When I was 20, I moved to Tampa and I did hair for years. I did hair extensions. I used to do platform, on the platforms where you're talking to people in a little microphone, and I was doing hair, and I enjoyed it, but I still, drank, and I still dibble-dabbled in certain things. And so when I came back here, I got married, got a divorce, and I stopped all my medication, and that's when I went into full-blown addiction. Then I ended up I had my first child with my husband, but then I ended up having another child. And by the time she was born, I was so full-blown in addiction. I asked my parents if they could take my kids because I knew right then I wasn't good for them. So I was pregnant with my last child, my youngest one, and I was hopeless. I was in a position where, I didn't know what to do. I was in denial. So I'm sorry choking up because this is a lived experience, and I hope to reach out to people that's been through this because I want them to know that you can get through this. So it was really hard. It was hard to get off drugs. It was hard to find my purpose in life. I was pregnant, still running the streets. Probably went to the doctor one time, and it was one of the toughest times in my life. Well, she was born, and DSS was involved. They gave custody back to my parents. So someone on the streets told me about the Charleston Center and where I can get my child back, custody back. So I went there, and I was there for about 9 months, and then I went to Connie Maxwell with all 3 of my daughters. I was sober. I got my girls back, but I never worked on myself. I was still wrapped up in the same thinking, still thinking that, I'm not a good mom, I'm a drug addict, I got all this mess I have to fix. So I went home and I ended up using again. Then I got arrested by the feds. Yeah, and that was a wake-up call. When I went, I'd never been to jail before. And when I got arrested on a 35-person indictment, and at that point, when I went in, it was right around, right when COVID was ending, so it was like 2021. People were still wearing masks, and they still were quarantining people. And they quarantined me for 10 days. I was in this little cell. I didn't have any books, nothing. I couldn't even make phone calls. They let me out for a shower, and that was it. And the only thing in there was a Bible. And at that point, I wasn't really reading the Bible to be like, oh God, I was just reading it because it was the only thing there. And it started opening my eyes. Those stories are so relatable, a little bit in the older days, but they were so relatable. And the verses in there, just made you feel better. When I got out of quarantine, I had somebody tell me the best advice ever. They said, do the time, don't let the time do you. And what I did was I just started every morning. My aunt bought me the Joyce Meyer's Battlefield of the Mind. It had a workbook. And every morning I did it, and I worked on it, and I did Bible study. Then during the day, I would just walk. I was so determined to get out of there. I was so determined to get back to who I was, my authentic self. The way I see it is there is nothing you can't do as long as you have to self-talk yourself and have faith in something. That's why they always say find a higher power. But finally, my higher power was God, and was finding that it doesn't matter what I did or where I was at in my life, where He forgives. And His grace is bigger than anything. To know that God forgives me no matter what, and there was no judgment, at that point, that's all that mattered to me. When I got out, I said, I need to educate myself on my diseases, on my mental health, and on my substance use. You know, I heard a lot of stories before about people recovering and, you know, becoming doctors and stuff. I'm like, why can't I do that? So I signed up for Midlands Tech. As soon as I got out, I was still facing time, but I was out on, you know, they finally let me out on bond. And I started going to Midlands Tech. And next thing you know, a year goes by, 2 years goes by, and I'm graduating with an associate's degree with forensic psychology. During that time, and I was going to drug court, someone mentioned me about peer support specialists. And they're like, did you know that you can actually work for a place, get paid, and be passionate about what you do and go out there and share your story? And I was like, what? Like, you know, okay. So I went and got the certificate, but I still was like, no, I'm going to finish school. And next thing you know, I was graduating. And if God doesn't work in mysterious ways, the day I graduated was the day that they opened a position up for Kershaw County in Trinity Recovery. And I said, it was like meant to be. My girls, I have my custody back of my girls. I'm closing on a house. My parents, we healed our relationship. And I'm doing my bachelor's degree online for psychology because I'm not going to forget that. You know, that is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I might go for my master's. I don't know yet. I know it's a lot of work. So one thing, getting sober is very hard. It's hard because every time you get sober, you think, okay, now I got to clean up the mess I created, right? Facing those feelings, you know, those icky feelings that you haven't felt before, you know, that can make you right there just kind of like, okay, I wave my little flag back. But some of the important things I think getting sober is having coping skills. I have a whole tool belt of coping skills. I mean, you know, as much as you can have faith in God and know that God, it will, you know, always be there, you've got to know something fleshly has got to look at you and say, hey, you can do this. You are beautiful. You are smart. You can get through this. And sometimes the best person to do it is yourself. Recovery out loud is so important. That's why peer support specialists normally do make it through longevity with their sobriety because they're recovering out loud. They talk about it. They, you know, try to support people as much as they can. And I think that's also important. And then also being patient with yourself, being patient with the relationships that you've burnt, being patient with things just falling in place. Because like I said, next thing you know, it's going to be a year, 2 years down the line, and just great things start falling in your lap. Be aware of your blessings, and be aware of your feelings. These are the things that I know I share with a lot of people that helped me. You know, that's why I love working for Trinity Recovery, because the fact it's all pathways, and they let us go around and teach that. They let us go out and say, hey, look, we'll meet you where you're at with your addiction.